Welcome back. Today is a free draw, and so kind of going along with the themes of previous free draws where I'm working on an animation for my research that I've been doing. Today we're going to be making the CubeSats for the SunRISE mission. SunRISE is a project I've been working on at the University of Michigan for the past 5 or so years. The idea is that we're getting emissions from the sun and viewing those emissions using radio waves. So each of these satellites will be sent up. Let me look up the SunRISE Ground Radio Lab so I can show you the general page for this. Okay, so part of this is a outreach program with a bunch of high schools. So we send radio antennas to a bunch of high schools and install antennas with us, but then also part of this is NASA sending up their own satellites. So you can see that they're going to use something called interferometry, which basically makes a giant radio dish out of a bunch of small satellites. Here are each of the satellites. So today I'm just going to try and make one of these. It's not going to be perfect, it's not going to have all the details, but I just want the general shape so that if I want to kind of show a satellite positioned in orbit around the sun with a bunch of other satellites, that I have a model for that. So I have two views of it. This is kind of the an orthographic view from the top, where you can see the solar panels, some of the radio equipment, and then here's another view where you can see kind of in real life instead of just the schematic. Anyways, let's get started. I think I'm going to start by building the general body first, then the wings, then maybe these probes that come out, and then we'll see how much time we have left. Can't promise too much because it will take a while, but let's get started. I'm not going to use any actual dimensions. I probably should, but I don't know the actual dimensions, so yeah. The NASA keeps some of these things secret, so I don't know all of it. We'll start by doing this and then that. These satellites are going to get sent up into space probably next year. I say probably because for the past couple of years they've been telling us that they're going to be sent up that year. I think since I first joined the team, it's always been like, okay, it's happening next year, it's happening next year, it's happening next year. I think at first it was just going to be in 2021. But then because of COVID, they pushed it back to like 2022-ish. And then got pushed back again and again. The way that space missions work typically is that they don't want to send up a bunch of rockets because it takes a lot of fuel and it takes a lot of money. So they try and package a bunch of missions together. And because they're trying to package a bunch of missions together, it basically is going to, the date which it's launched relies mostly on what's called like the main mission. So there's typically you have a bunch of small missions and then one really big mission, and it turns out that the big mission for us is likely going to be some like military thing or something that like we won't know about, we won't have full access to, they're not going to give us the total information for, and so because of that they're kind of a little cagey when it comes to telling us when is this actually going to be launched, what are the missions going to be launched with, all that kind of stuff. But as of now it seems like it's going to be launched sometime in summer-ish of 2026, so hopefully it's launched. Whenever you see this video you can check to see if it's actually been launched. I'm not I'm cautiously pessimistic, I would say, because I've heard it so many times, but you never know. Okay, let's make this kind of like an orange section down here. So I guess I don't know why I added all these edge loops. I probably didn't, or added all of these. I probably didn't need to, but that's okay. I think we can select here and then shift control, select this. And then we'll inset something like that. And maybe we can SY. Have it come poke out a little bit. Why is it not poking out? Or GY. Something like that. Just poke out ever so slightly. Let's make the wings now, the solar panels. So to do that, we'll make 2 cylinders first. Okay. Let's move it. I guess these cylinders don't need to have as many vertices. It's okay if they're kind of low poly. Make the radius maybe like 0.1. Yeah, we want it to be pretty small. Let's move it up. We're going to rotate it around the y-axis. 90 degrees. We can move it out along the y-axis here, just so it's near the end. Look at it from the side. GZ, kind of get it down here. GY, move it out here. Okay, and then we want to look from the side and make sure that the length of this is about the same as the length of this. So SX, something like that. Okay. Now we can add a mirror modifier on this so that we have another one on the other side. Actually, let's wait to do the mirror modifier because we can just do a wing and then go from there. Okay, so let's click on this, go to edit mode. I think we want just kind of the middle part of this wing to come out. It just connects right there, so we'll take some edge loops. In fact, we'll just take one edge loop for now. Then we'll bevel it. Then we'll bevel it, and we'll make it kind of like this. Okay, now we can look from the side, and let's say we want to take this face and this face. Maybe we'll inset them a little bit. Then we can look from the side. We can extrude them outwards, kind of like this. I think that looks pretty good. And then we want to make kind of like this, the solar panels. So let's create maybe a new shape. I'm trying to think if there's any way we can make these flat. What if we go to vertice select mode, select this vertice and this vertice, this vertice and this vertice. Oops, didn't hit shift. Let's do that. Look from the side, and then we can move these out. G, Y. Try and make it flat. Is that flat? I think so. Maybe it's not quite. I think that is flat. If it's not, it should be close enough. Okay. Now we can take these two faces and extrude them out. Like that. Let's see. Before I do that, how big are the wings with respect to the actual thing? They look like they're maybe slightly longer than the actual CubeSat, so let's go with that. So most of the work I've done on this project has been with respect to the antennas which we install throughout the country. The ones that the University of Michigan has installed are a place called Peach Mountain, which is up in Dexter, Michigan. So I've been lucky enough to collect data. We collected some data during the solar eclipse back in 2024. Collected some data just during like random solar events that have happened over the past couple of years. So it's a very fun project. Like that, UI. Okay. I'm just trying to get a good length. I think maybe that's a good length. And then we can take this and this, and this and this, and right-click, extrude faces along normals. Okay, I should actually know before I do this the width. Okay, so it looks like they are maybe about, they go further than the body of the CubeSat. The CubeSat's slightly wider than 1/3 of the total width, so you can use that as a reference. Right now the CubeSat is like this. Okay, I think I have a rough idea of what I want to do here. Let's look from the top officially. Right-click, extrude along normals. And maybe something like, if it's slightly longer than 1/3, something like that should do the trick. Can we then erase these loops? dissolve edges. Did that work? No. Because I would prefer these not to be here. I prefer it just to be one plane. If I delete edges, that did not do what I wanted it to. Okay, what if I merge the faces instead? Oh, why is it doing that? Interesting. Merge center? Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, let's try a different technique then. Instead of kind of doing this extrude feature, maybe we just create a new object and then we'll merge it together at the end. So go into object mode, Shift A, we'll create a cube, move it up and out. GY. This from the top. I want it to be slightly wider, so SY, GY. Okay, then we'll move it down so that these two slightly intersect. Nice. Okay, so now we have this, and now we want to add these loops. So we can take this object, let's go into edit mode, go into edge select mode, and select these two edges. Make two edge cuts, and then across this there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure that adds up with the real life one. Yep, 6. So select this edge, R6, enter. Okay. Now we want to kind of add some thickness to those. So we'll go into face select, select the top left one, Shift Alt, select the bottom. Oh, maybe not like that. I could have sworn there was a way to do it. Is it Control Shift? Yeah, Control Shift, click here. And then we'll inset, but instead of insetting like that, we'll hit inset a second time to kind of create this, the grid shape. Like that. And let's look at it from the side, and we'll move these up ever so slightly, like that. The back side is not elevated. I think the back side is orange. Okay, it's not in either of these two pictures. But I think we can keep it like this. I know there's space in between them. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let's go down to this bottom part and make this kind of cross section. Actually, let's mirror this first. So let's select you, and add a mirror modifier. Mirror object is going to be you. It's going to be you. We want to mirror across that axis. Why is it only mirroring? I guess you can only mirror one at a time. That's fine. We'll do the same thing here then. Mirror, select, and let's select our object for mirroring, select our axis for mirroring. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our two wings, and now we want to make kind of this X coming out of the bottom. So let's go to our bottom view. We'll take this, go into edit mode. Let's select these four faces. We'll do an inset. Oh, just a general inset like this. And maybe size that down over the Y direction so it's more square-like, like that. Look at it from the side. We'll have it go down just a little bit. Not instead of moving it down, let's extrude it down. Okay, something like that. And then we want planes coming out of each of these, so let's extrude it down one more. Not quite that much. Maybe something like this. Okay. Then we want to select all of these faces. Let's go into wireframe mode and select all the faces in this bottom section. And we're going to extrude the faces along normal. And then I think these get extruded pretty far out. Let me check references again. Yeah, okay, they get extruded further than anything here. I know maybe some of you are wondering about all the science behind this. Again, there will be a video about that at some point. Whoa, not like that. What happened there? I guess just extrude? No. Why is it extruding like that? I just want the face, like the individual faces. I don't want it to go at angles. Huh. I wonder why it does that. That's interesting. Maybe we do it one at a time. Let's see what happens if we just do this face and then extrude across the normal. Yeah, that works. So, huh. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just do it like this. It's definitely not the most efficient, but since it's only 4, I don't really care that much. I guess we'll try and get it roughly the same distance as the other one. The other one is how many cubes? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, a little more than 12. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Sweet. Do the same thing for these faces. And let's see if we can do 2 at a time, I guess, just to learn for the future. Okay, maybe not like that. Can we do it like that? Does seem like that would work. But okay, so we want it 12, so it would be, oh, I guess these, is it different? Oh, okay, these are the big cubes, so I want it to be like this, then like that. Okay, now we can probably do it like this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's up and down. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. They're probably not exactly all the same length, but I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now we have the general shape. We have our solar panels. We have our bottom spokes. We have this. Let's see if there's anything more I want to add. I think we're pretty much at 20 minutes. Maybe I'll come back to this in the future and add some more stuff. Like we have all these details here and here and here, which I definitely could add. But for the purpose of just representing the satellite in space, I just want the general shape to be there. And we have the general shape. So I think I'm just going to start on the colors for now. So let's go into material mode. We'll go into object mode and then materials. And I guess for this material, we want it to be, I guess, gray, orange. Okay, I guess let's start with the easiest part, which is the top of this, which is like a black solar panel color. It's probably not perfectly black. I think it's more like bluish. Solar panels aren't perfectly black for a number of reasons, but I think that looks pretty good. And then the back side of these, I believe, is orange on one stripe. Where did I see that? Not this. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. See, there's a bunch of different satellites that are called CubeSats. The idea behind a CubeSat is that you can fit all the science into kind of like a standardized size or a standardized small shape. It makes them easier to produce. They're each about the size of like a toaster oven, so pretty small in the grand scheme of things. And that's very useful for scientists because if we want to send stuff up, we don't want to send up a lot of weight and a lot of size. Usually if we wanted to observe something like radio signals from the sun or like most signals from space, we would want a really big radio dish. That's the reason why if you ever see radio dishes on Earth, these big radio dishes, the size is huge. Same with like the James Webb Telescope and Hubble. The reason why they have these big dishes is because when you're acquiring data, you are not just acquiring data you want, you also acquire some data you don't want. And the data you don't want we call noise. And there's a quality in most sciences called the signal to noise ratio, which is basically if you take the magnitude of the signal you're getting that you want to the magnitude of the signal you don't want. You divide the one you do want by the one you don't want. That's a signal to noise ratio, and we found that that quality, the signal to noise ratio, is directly proportional to the radio of a dish, the radio of a radio dish. Excuse me, the diameter of a radio dish, not the radio of a radio dish. Sorry, my brain's all scrambled right now. So what they've figured out based off of that is that it's very costly in most situations to send up a big radio dish, because it's a lot of material. A lot of material means a lot of fuel. A lot of fuel means a lot of money. So in order to kind of circumvent that, what they do is they've used something called interferometry, which is what I'll explain in the videos coming up. But what that does is it can combine the signals from a bunch of independent stations, independent either radio or satellites or antennas, and when you combine that data, you can create kind of like a virtual radio dish. So the data that you're getting would be the same as a giant radio dish, but instead of having to send up all the material for a radio dish, you're just sending up the data for one of them. Or excuse me, instead of having to send up a giant radio dish, you just have to send up a bunch of small satellites. Man, dude, I'm I'm out of it. Okay, here we go. Let's make this kind of shiny, and then this surface and this surface. Let's look from here. So this bottom surface, I believe, is gold. Gold is used a lot in space missions because it's very reflective, so it helps against radiation. It's also very resistant against corrosion, so that helps it survive longer, and it's also very malleable compared to other metals, which you have to heat up really high to shape. Gold you can kind of shape at lower temperatures, and also using different techniques, and so it's preferred over some other methods, or some other materials rather. Now we have, why is this not gold? Did I not set it? Oops. Oh. Not like that. I'm going to select just you. Sign. There we go. And I'm not sure if this one is actually gold. I don't think it is. You can set that to this material. Okay. Alright, so now we have our gray, we have our orange. I think the back of 1/3 of this is orange, so let's see. I forget which third it is, and I don't know why I can't find it. It's a bit annoying to me. I was looking for a while when I was trying to explain interferometry, but I know there's a picture that shows the backside of these solar panels, and I believe that 1/3 of them has that orange material that appears here. Maybe it's this one. Just take one more look, see if we can see it. Okay, well, yeah, here you can see that this is the current launch date, the 2026 launch date. Hopefully it actually gets sent up, but, you know, no promises. Let's see. Where are these pictures, man? Was it in this? No. Okay, I mean, if I can't find it in the next minute or so. No, it's none of these. Okay, that's unfortunate. I don't know why I'm struggling to find it now, but it is what it is. Okay, I'll just do it and then hope I chose the right faces. So here's, oh, why are we not, or no, we're not in the right object, maybe. Yeah, okay, we need to go into this object. It's like this face. Oops, face mode. Why is it not letting me select this face? Hello? What's happening? Okay, I am in the right object. I can go into edit mode. For this object, supposedly. Oh, because I'm in the mirror and I'm looking at the wrong half of the mirror. Oh my goodness, okay. dumb. Here we go. Let's select our orange material, assign. Okay, so now we have that. We have the orange here, the orange here. And then I'm trying to think if there's, I mean, we do have orange here. Yeah, I guess we'll make one side of it orange too. So we can just select one of these at random. I'll select this one. I guess it's not at random. I know it's this one, but here we go. Select this. Select these two as well. Select that material, assign. Okay. So now we have our CubeSat satellite. So just a simplified version. I know it doesn't capture all the intricacies. If I was a better Blender modeler, then maybe I would be able to do this in 20 minutes, but because I'm not, I took 25 minutes and didn't even get particularly close, but I'm still happy with it. I think it captures the general shape and the general gist of the satellite, and I think when I start talking about the science behind it, it will be a good stand-in for the actual satellites that we send up. So hope you liked that. Actually, let's just go render it real quick before I end this video. Get this kind of whole shape in there. Let's go into this mode. Where's our light source? Let's go back into edit mode, take our light source. Let's move it here. Change that light source to an area. Point that area at the object, at our satellite. Change the power to maybe 2000. Maybe 3000 or so. Maybe we can angle it a little bit up so that you can kind of see the solar panels. I don't want you to fully be able to see them, but just be able to see the grid. I think that would do. So now if we go here, F12, just to get a render, and you can see the general shape. Maybe instead of seeing both orange sides, we have one orange side and one gray side. I think that would be more realistic. So if we go up here, and in object mode we have that selected and this selected, and then rotate around the Z. Maybe we want to set our, I'm not quite sure how we set the center of rotation, but I think we can just go like this and then kind of move it. This is certainly not the best way of doing it, but I think it will work. Okay, now if we go like this, we can kind of move this back, GZ, or G Shift Z, like this, F12. Here's our render. Okay, and now we see the satellite. And there we go. Oh, one last thing. We didn't select a color for these cylinders, so let's select a color for them. I think in real life they are, well, they're not exactly cylinders, I guess. It's more like, and they're smaller. Oh, that's a good catch. I guess we can make them smaller. Let's size them down, and then I guess we'll make them the gold color. So let's take this cylinder. Which cylinder can I edit? It's this one. Maybe let's select it from the side. Select all of this. Don't want that. Okay. Maybe from the top. I'm trying to figure out the best way to select all of this. But I don't want this stuff. S. Is it X? Yeah. Oh, I didn't select everything, I guess. Why is it doing that? Okay. Oh, because I didn't select the edges? I thought I was in wireframe mode then. Okay, maybe we can just select the edges. Would that work? That's X? Yeah, okay, much better. Let's move those down. So they're like there. Okay, we can look from the top, select the whole thing, and add a color. That color will be the same gold. Nice. Now, if we have that, and we go into our render, very nice. We have our antenna. Okay, with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.